All right, friends. Hey, Guthrie Trapp here, coming to you from East Nashville, Tennessee. Hey, I thought I'd get out the baritones for a minute here and just mess around. One thing I wanted to talk to you about here is groove and the blues groove, right? And all groove, all across the world and every genre of music. It's all about the groove, right? So this is my old Jerry Jones baritone guitar, one of the last ones he made here. I guess he was in Nashville. I bought this at Corner Music, the old one, before they moved a long time ago, probably 17, 18 years ago. I bought this guitar. I'm going through my old Princeton reverb, through my pedals, a little tremolo, a little delay, nothing too fancy. Using these two pickups here, the back and the middle together to get that kind of cool, out of phase E kind of tone with a little attack still, but a nice full bottom. Hey, so, you know, the thing about this groove is, like, I'm just messing around here. I got on that little riff, you know, just to kind of experiment. Right, so I'm coming up with a little bass line and a little accent hit, you know, in between there, just the G and the D string. But it's about coming up with a little riff or a little something that you can latch onto and really kind of just get into that. Don't think it's boring. Don't think you're playing something that's too simple or something. That's what it's about. It's about that, like, reoccurring theme, you know, keeping that groove going. It's like a trance almost you get into, just playing that groove, whatever it is. And timing and stuff is just going to serve you so well. If you're at home and you're practicing by yourself and you start doing anything that has time to it, like if you're learning a line or a rhythm or a lick or something like that, unless you're just working it out and you're you know, literally trying to figure out what notes to play, man, play along to a metronome, you know, play rhythm guitar, really learn what it's like to play to something that's holding you accountable and keeping you honest as a musician and a guitar player. Play along to some records, as you hear me say this all the time. Play along to your favorite records, you know. What's better than jamming along to our favorite bands in the world? Make sure you turn it up to where you're in the mix, to where you're hearing the bass and the drums, and if you get off a little bit, you're going to know it, right? You need to have that turned up loud enough, or yourself turned down enough to where you're in the mix and the music that you're playing along to is louder than you are. That's my opinion. Another thing to do is, if you're playing a rhythm guitar part for a loop pedal and you're practicing that way, make sure your rhythm part is to a click, some sort of metronome or something, keeping you honest. Because if that stuff starts getting off, man, everybody knows it, and all the musicians that you're going to play with in the future are going to know it, right? Especially if hopefully you're going to be the worst musician on any stage you're on. I always am, and I love that, because that's how I learn. That's how you learn. You got to jump in and get your hands dirty with this stuff. So I'm going to jump on this. I'm going to grab this acoustic really quick and just show you what I mean. Like, you know, sit around and try doing something like this to a metronome, and you'll realize that the batteries aren't going dead on the metronome. It's you moving around. And so, you know, I'm not perfectly in tune here, but this is the idea. Grab a nice G chord and just try playing some acoustic guitar rhythm to a click and try to stay in time. Right, just something like that is really hard. Doing this kind of stuff. Let's see. That wasn't perfect, but that kind of stuff, like that, like slow waltz kind of stuff, anything like that you can play on the acoustic and get a nice clean rhythm, man, that is unbelievably hard to do in time, and it's great practice. So all this stuff is going to serve you really well. Let me grab my telly here real quick, and I'll show you another example of some really great stuff to practice and just have a lot of fun with, right? So this kind of stuff where I'm jumping on like just it's all about this groove. It's just so important. It's unbelievable. And so until we get our hands dirty and jump in here, it's not about the numbers and the theory and all these crazy concepts of like when I go from the 1 to the 4 chord, I'm in a different key than I really am, and all this crazy stuff that to me just doesn't make a bit of sense, and it clogs us up and slows us down mentally. I mean, this needs to be a free thinking thing here that we're having a lot of fun with, And so when I sit down, I might just do this. This is great exercise. Great exercise. Just stuff like that that's really out of the minor pentatonic in the key of E, but I'm really keeping that groove going. I'm concentrating on my phrasing, even that really kind of straight out of the pentatonic. For mistakes. That wasn't perfect, but those phrases are always going to end, it's those little phrases, even in the open E minor pentatonic. If you just did this. It has to have that extra note though. Because if you just did this, it's hard for me to not do it somewhat in the pocket because I've been trying so hard my whole life to do that. But if it doesn't land in the pocket, those little phrases don't work. So you have to start coming up with your own little lines that fit those kind of grooves, and that's what's really going to help us, start learning how to play and how to create these phrases and stuff. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be, crazy diminished runs and all this stuff, all this crazy stuff that we do. it's based in these really simple concepts, but what I'm trying to say in this lesson is the importance of the fundamentals of groove and getting these pentatonics and stuff like that to where you know them in your sleep, and you can tell when it's time to go to the 4 chord. To the 5. You know, you should know that chord progression or a variation of the blues chord progression in your sleep. You got to know when that, you know, when you start hearing ramping up to that 4 chord, there is a certain progression and a certain timing and amount of bars, 4 beats, and like the 12 bar blues and all that stuff. That does have to be right. If you start changing that chord progression, then you're getting away from the heartbeat and the pulse of where all music started, basically, in my opinion. So, you know, these are real important things. But sit around, check out, like, you know, listen to some guys like Roy Buchanan, B.B. King, all of our favorites, you know, Ronnie Earl, all these great blues players. If it's Stevie Ray Vaughan that you love, check him out for, you know, how he got so much soul out of his playing. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I've shared a lot of records with you, and guys that I love, Mark Knopfler and all these guys that I think are the most toneful, soulful, greatest phrasers. Robin Ford, oh my God, unbelievable phrasing, who just lives right over here now. But you know, that kind of stuff, just getting into this groove where you're really getting down to the like caveman level of guitar, which is just, you know, keeping that going and keeping to, your phrasing accompanying that rhythm and starting to really get into that. I'm kind of bouncing all over the place on this lesson. I just wanted to mainly talk about the groove and how important that was. Man, thanks guys for checking these out. I'm running out the door here in a minute to go play some bluegrass outside, where we're going to be, you know, 6 to 8 feet apart, and outdoors where we can sit around and play some bluegrass. It's a beautiful day here. Looking forward to that with my good friends. And man, you know, thanks so much for the comments and the positivity. Everybody's been so nice. If you visited the tip jug, that's awesome. Thanks for that. Venmo is at Guthrie-Trapp. PayPal is pick@GuthrieTrapp.com. Please check out Instagram, Facebook, all the links below to all the education stuff I'm doing. If you want to expand on any of these concepts, the best way to do it is, is Artist Works, my full curriculum there with an amazing company, which you can do video exchanges of and have access to the full curriculum. Obviously, my Skype lessons that are private on Skype, and we do an hour masterclass where I show you all the fundamentals that changed my life as a guitar player and a musician. And you get the video from that too, so it's a game changer. Taught by a professional, not a professor, which is one of my favorite slogans. Because we're in the trenches, we're doing this every day. We know what works. I know how to trim the fat off of all the stuff that I think bogs you down and confuses you as a musician, and I like to get right to the music. Okay, so these are the concepts that worked for me, and you know, I think it's a pretty cool way to look at the fingerboard, you know. But let's have some fun and make some music. Sit down with your guitar and let's get into the groove. That's my speech for today, folks. Thanks so much for all the positivity. Stay safe and well out there, and we look forward to seeing you guys real soon. All right, take care. Bye.